Spiral dance has 3 beats in a measure, and it really doesn't matter which song I'm teaching in 3/4 time signature. Almost every student tries to make 4 beats in a measure, just because that is what you're so used to hearing when you listen to music. But spiral dance has a waltz feel. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And no matter how much you slice it, it doesn't sound like a dance if you have an extra beat in each measure. So let's tap the first line of spiral dance. We have 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3. And if you were in your lesson with me, I would ask you which count, 1, 2, or 3, which count is the most important count in a waltz? And if you ever watch a Disney flick and see a prince dancing with a princess, and you notice their waltz, the big step of a waltz pattern, it's always on count 1. So if these were my feet and I was waltzing, I would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we have to have that waltzy feeling with spiral dance. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3. Inevitably. Okay, so this is what it's going to sound like. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3. Can you tap that with me? Here we go. 1, ready, tap. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3. Inevitably, what every student wants to do is hold this last note for another beat and not make it to this count 1 in time. So as we're practicing with our fingers, we need to go slow. I know these are eighth notes, and eighth notes go faster, but we need to go slow enough in our tempo so our fingers ready to go from and 3 and 1 to get to that count 1 without stopping. So a lot of students play 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 that's what I'm hearing in most of the videos that come back right now. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is practice with your fingers going from this first note and not stopping till you get to the downbeat of that note. Then practice from this first note to that one. It's like almost the students want this to be its own thing, and then you can take your time or however long you want to get to count 1. But then we lose that amazing waltzy feel to this song. So when you're practicing your notes, go from this D to this C like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Okay, so that's a little practice session right there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Then you can practice the next section starting on the C right here and ending on the B. You can go 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Okay, so actually do this practice with your right hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. And then the next one will start on the B, and you won't stop till you get to the A. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. And in this song, that pattern happens over and over again. So if you make this first pattern wrong, all the patterns are going to be wrong because you're doing them all the same way. So we have to fix the feel of the rhythm here to have only 3 beats in a measure. This one is the same as this one. This one is the same as this one, but this one is different. Different notes to end on a different note. We go from B and we land on A, and here we start on B and we land on G. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 sections to practice. Can you mark that in your music? This last section sounds 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3. So let's turn the page, because on the next page we have the chords, right? So we have to know what the left hand is doing. 1 and 5, 1 and 4, 1 and 3, 1 and 2, because we're going to practice doing exactly the same thing. We're going to practice going from here to here. Then we're going to practice going from here to here. And then we're going to practice going from here to here. And because this one is different, we're going to practice going from here to here. Okay, so I'm going to mark these guys like this. And I'm going to put my phone up overhead. I'm going to practice this little section 3 times. I'm going to practice this little section 3 times, 3 times, 3 times. I'm going to pause between each one because I want you to practice with me. I want you to stop the video, see if you can play along with me, or I will play, you pause the video and you play. I want you to copy to get the feel of the 3/4 time signature, so there's no holding between the measures. Just like when we are learning and scrolling, sometimes you have to pause to make sure your fingers are on the right notes for the next chord, but we need to make sure we've practiced these chords so you know what you're doing, and then you have to be able to get to the next measure in the right amount of time. Okay, so here we're going to practice 1, 2, 3, 4 sections, and we're going to do 3 times each. All right, I think we're recording again. So here we go. Section 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Okay, we're gonna do it again. Number 2. 1, 2 and 3 and 1. All right, third time. Section 2. Section 2. One more time. Section 3. Okay, now we're skipping down to section 4. Again. Again. Okay, at the beginning of line 3, your thumb's going to move up to play E, and finger 2's already on C. That's just like the chord you had in another song, Scrolling, and except you were in C major, the thumb moves up. But now it moves up right here. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Last line. 1, 2, 3. Now we go back to C and E and we sharp the C. 3, and now we sharp finger 5. So that's the tricky line. This line, if you practice this line like 20 times a day, and that's kind of the thing, when you start getting in level 2, level 3 music, and you're moving into early intermediate music, it takes a lot more hands alone practice because each hand's doing more complicated things. It is absolutely encouraging. I definitely recommended that you practice hands alone. This last line, so many times so you know what you're doing. Can you do it with your eyes closed? The right hand moves up a step in this section, but it does exactly the same thing it did earlier, just up one step. So there's your section to practice. Going from count 1 of the first measure to count 1 of the second measure, you get that waltzy feel. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, then the next measure, we're going to be doing 1, 2, 3, and 1. And just practicing those. Make those an exercise. All right, so hopefully I have helped you gain a better understanding. The next part, version 3, that's up on the score, that version is very much the same as version 2, except instead of playing the chord at the beginning, you get to go back and forth instead of. I like version 3. But the thing about version 3 is if you can't play version 2, you definitely won't be able to play version 3. Version 2 blocks out the chords. So work on version 2, getting that meter, 3 beats in a measure, going from count 1, 2, 3, and 1, and get down to that downbeat, no holding for a count 4. All right, hopefully that helps you and gives you encouragement and some practice strategies to really nail Spiral Dance. There's a bunch of other songs in this book that I would love for you to do, and so I'm hoping we can polish this up and then move forward. Okay, have a great day.